Hello and welcome. Today we're exploring a fundamental concept in linguistics, structural positions in grammar, and how understanding structure helps us identify where verbs belong in a sentence, no matter how complex that sentence gets.
The example shows three variations of sentences that contains the verb snored. He snored, the man snored, the old man snored. Notice that the linear positions of the verb snored changes in each sentences. However, its structural positions remain constant. In tree diagram presentations, the verb snored will consistently appear as the head of the verb phrase, a direct constituent of the main sentence. This consistent structural positions reveals its consistent grammatical function as the main verb. The added phrases the man and the old man affect the linear order but not the underlying structural relationship of the verb snored within the sentence's structure. These consistent structural positions help define its grammatical role more accurately than simple word order.
So, this text is explaining a different way to look at how sentences work. Normally, we might think about sentences by looking at the order of the words, like which word comes first, second, and so on. But instead of just looking at the order, this new way looks at how the words are grouped together, kind of like a family tree. It's called a tree diagram. In this tree, S stands for the whole sentence and P stands for a phrase, which is just a group of words that go together. Then, the individual words sit at the very bottom of the tree. Now, here's the cool part. No matter how long or short the sentence is, the word snored is always found in the same place in the tree. It always sits under the P part, which is under the S part. That spot shows it's the main verb, the main action of the sentence. So even if the sentence has more words before snored, the structure doesn't change. It stays in the same role, doing the same job. This helps us understand grammar in a more organized way, not just by word order, but where words sit in the structure.
Linear position, the verb smiled is the first word in the sentence. Structural position, the tree diagram shows smiled as the head of its own phrase, or P. It's the main verb of the sentence and nothing else modifies or complements it directly within the phrase.
The sentence tree for talk to the police shows how the sentence is built step by step. At the top, there's a phrase that covers the whole sentence. The main verb talk comes first and is the core of the phrase. Then, there's another phrase under talk, which includes to the police. This means to the police is a complement that gives more information about where or to whom the talking happens.
Many people think that grammatical positions depend on their linear order of words, their sequence in a sentence, but that's not always true. For example, a verb might be the second, third, or even the nth word in a sentence. Yet, structurally, it always holds a unique spot that no other element can take. To see this in action, let's look at the three diagrams in example number 27. Here, each tree represents a simple sentence or phrase. The verbs are bolded in each case, which are smiled, kick, talk, and saw. Notice something interesting? In each tree, the verb is always the same structural position. It comes directly under the main phrase note, labeled P, there. Even when there are additional words like the cat, to the police, or surely, the verb's position in the structure does not change. That means that no matter how many words or phrases are added, the verb's structural position stays consistent. It always comes right below the main phrase, before its complements, and sometimes after adverbial modifiers. And why is that important? Well, defining grammatical position by structure, not just word order, is much more precise. It allows us to see that verbs have a unique slot within the phrase, a slot that only verbs can occupy. This helps linguists and language learners alike understand sentence construction more deeply. So, Next time you look at a sentence, try to see beyond the word order. Think about the underlying structure, and you'll find that verbs always have their own special place, no matter what else is going on in the sentence. We hope you learned a lot from section 1.4 Structural Positions. Thank you for watching.